Yo, what's up? Welcome to Numbers with Ace Jacari. I'm your host, Ace Jacari, but you already know, call me Ace. It's been a minute. Well, we back. I'm very excited because in this episode, we are breaking down the July 2024 forecast. So this is going to be a universal 6 month and a universal 8 year. And what's interesting about this is because when 6 and 8 get together, baby, you know what that means? That means shmoney. That means shmoney. So we gonna talk about that because when we bring up 6 and 8, not only do we get just the conversation around money, we get themes around overindulgence with that 6 energy, but we also have themes around organization and budgeting and stuff with the number 8. So we gotta talk about it. So with 6 being ruled by Venus and Jupiter, you have a lot of themes that are highlighted of pleasure and sensuality and comfort, relationships, wants, creativity, and desires. But again, still tying into that impulsivity, a little bit of themes around jealousy and manipulation. So this also brings up like themes that I'm gonna get into later, but I'm a little excited. This brings up themes around money and or ownership around things and people wanting what you have. This can be in fashion, this can be in beauty, this can be in looks, because also 6 relates to body image as well. So that's in there. And then you have 8 being this universal year, being ruled by Saturn and Pluto, which highlights structure, organization, themes around time, boundaries, authority in regards to especially government. So that also brings up legal things, but also your needs. But where they come into that common ground, not only is that shmoney, that shmoney is coming up, but also wealth, materialism, passion, focus, and patience. But also there's a duality there. So when I'm pointing out all of these themes, I don't want you to just think of the positive side of these things, but also the negative and also everything in between, because range, numbers got range. But also 6 and 8 both connect to food, family, and long-term relationships. So you can see that also popping out this month. So 6 connects to those themes in regards to comfort, indulgence, pleasure again, also sustenance, and also body image, like I said before. So all of those things are coming up. But also you have 8 in regards to authority figures, not only just authority government, but also people who just have more power, sustainability, safety, long-term needs, again, money, but also control. So you might feel you might find this month filled with themes around sweets, quality of food, things all related to food, like relationships with food, but also you have familial relationships and home life, and like situationships are also in there. But we're gonna talk about this a little more. I'm so excited to see how this 6 month goes 6 month in this universal 8 year, because again, shmoney. But moving past the money, we're starting off this month on a Monday, which is going to be a 6, 7, 8 day. But let me back up because I forgot to tell you the calculations. A calculation for a universal month would be the calendar month plus the universal year equals that universal month. So this is the 7th month of a universal 8 year. So 7 plus 8 equals that 15, and then 1 plus 5 equals that 6. That's how we get July being a universal 6 month. Now, when we come to the start of the month, like I said, it's going to be a 6, 7, 8 day starting on a Monday, and this gives a lot of development, especially because of the ascending pattern of 6, 7, and 8, highlighting a level of progression and movement, especially forward movement within relationships, sensuality, thought, subconscious mind, especially with that 7 being ruled by Neptune, and then also goals and ambitions, which is more 8 themes in there. So I'm really excited because it's starting off this vibe of innovation, that development, and that progression, and then taking them steps forward. But you also have it starting on a Monday, which highlights a level of rest and care and nurturing. So it's like, it gives me like, we're getting ideas. We're seeing where things are, where the things have fallen, the chips have fallen, the cards are laid, and being like, okay, I see what you hitting at. I'ma get to it. It's probably gonna be tomorrow though. Like that's the vibe I'm getting. So the energy behind this day, 6 seeks out a comfort, pleasure and ease, harmony and balance. Like, how can we make things easier on ourselves? 7 is seeking out this understanding, awareness, a level of truth, and what things are below the surface and how that impacts us. And then 8 seeks out that stability, that order, that consistency, that power through knowledge, control, etc., but also a depth there. So I'm really excited for how this starts, but when we look at how it ends, I ain't mad at that either. All around, this is just gonna be a month that has a little bit of a kick, but also not inherently a bad kick, because 6 and 8, with it being so materialistic focus, it can go a lot of ways. And I'm gonna get into the ways. I'm trying to not get ahead of myself, but again, I'm very excited. So here we are. When we get to the end of the month, we are ending in a 6-1-8 energy, with it being a universal 1 day. And that blend of that 6, 1, and 8 definitely gives a creativity and ambition, a potential to become something or to continue that development as we head into August being the universal 7 month, which we'll obviously talk about when we get to August. But all of those themes are brought up, but you also have themes around stubbornness and creative and career control and power balances and imbalances, because all 3 of these numbers, 6, 1, and 8, all want to be in the driver's seat in some way, shape, or form. 6 really likes to take control over sensuality, what makes them feel good, my wants, my needs, my desires. It really takes control in that space. 1 being ruling over the self, highlighted by its sun rulership. It wants to be control of that individual. Me, I is very much that 1 energy. And then 8 likes to control sort of kind of everybody else. It's an authority figure. It's law, it's structure, it's organization, it's order. So that's where its control comes in. So you might find yourself feeling a little restless, anxious, and find yourself overworking or very frustrated at the end of this month, or at least on those universal 1 days. But also on the other side, this energy can bring a confidence. You're feeling yourself, you're tapping into new parts of your sensuality and just parts of yourself, but also being mindful of rest and regulating your energy, which is also very crucial, especially with how potent that 8 kick is with that Saturn Pluto rulership, and how a little bit more easygoing 6 can be with that Venus Jupiter rulership. But I will say that 6 is also very prone to anxiety, and then 8 is very prone to depression. So this is also a little bit of a jostle on mental health as well. So be mindful of that, especially because we're ending this month on a universal 1 day, but on a Wednesday. That's what I'm trying to say, which is ruled by Mercury, which highlights thought and conversation and communication and processing and mental stimulation and awareness and things of that sort. So that's all coming up. Now, to sum all of that up and give you some more, this month is likely to poke into everybody's experiences with boundaries, overindulgence, love, intimacy, and relationship, to just name a few. And I say those specifically because you might find this a little bit reminiscent of March, and that's only because March was a universal 2 month, and 2 and 6 sit in a similar vibe with its connection to love and relationship and intimacy and care. So you might see a little bit of flickers of March showing up. So do with that information what you will, but don't at me. I'm definitely kidding. So you have themes around love and pleasure, friends with benefits, and situationships, especially having conversations around these things, or maybe seeing more content around these topics, story times even, stuff like that. But you also have things in regards to your sex life, sex work, STDs, STIs, sex as a whole, basically. Sensuality, orgasm, sex health, all of that stuff is up on the table, especially with this being a 6 month specifically. Those intimacy and sexual things are more 6 than it is 2, so that's why it's a little bit more potent this month than it would be in March per se. Now, I do have a March forecast out if you want to go listen to that for a little bit more insight of what that 2 themes were, or what those 2 themes were, so go ahead and check that out. But back to what we were talking about, this month is also likely to impact your relationship with movement due to the fact that 6 and 8 both like to take their time in their own way. 6 love to be spoiled, pampered, taken care of, don't gotta do shit because I don't want to do shit anyway. That is very much how 6 behaves. Whereas 8 is like, ain't nobody else gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it myself. It's fine. It is what it is. So there you can sort of kind of see a little bit of difference in their approach to movement. 6 is like, why do I have to move? 8 says, I will burn all of this shit down. I don't care. I'll do it. Like, I will do it. So though they like to take their time, this slight difference in relationship with movement can sort of kind of make you feel a little fatigued. You might find yourself needing more sleep. Also might find yourself having really interesting dreams because of the relationship with movement, but also in finding yourself needing to take more breaks, which I personally recommend. I recommend you take a lot of breaks this month as needed, because 6 needs a lot of regulation of the nervous system and also regulation of emotions and energy as a whole. So you might just find yourself being like, you know what, I'm tired and I'm gonna take this nap. I'm gonna take it. So this also brings up conversations around things like the soft life, around regulating that energy that I was just talking about, but also around laziness. You also might have a little bit around nervous system regulation, especially as we're leading into August being a universal 7 month, and 7 is very much heavily connected to the nervous system, whereas 6 is a little bit more related to digestion and your stomach, which brings up the connection to food, which we'll get to later. But I also want to bring up the fact that schedules and routine come up this much, which leads me to my next point of there's likely to be themes or changes or impacts in regards to career, routine, and health. So we might see a lot more corporations and companies firing or promoting en masse, especially due to 6's connection to overindulgence. This can be pay increases or decreases, popularity and demand of products, careers and fashion, beauty, finance, influencing, hospitality. Those are all of those are on the table. So we might see a lot more things around your favorite micro influencers, major influencers, celebrities being in conversation around those things of like, who are you supporting? Who do you care for? That's all up in there. We also have things around rest. Again, changing is in sleep, slower morning. So you might see a lot more aesthetic morning routines. You also might see a lot of changing in meals in regards to the studies that are done, eating habits, what you should and should not be eating per se. More people be like, oh yes, I went to a dietitian, or I went to a nutritionist, or I talked to my doctor and they said XYZ. You might see a lot of more things around that, but also relationships with food in general, but also sit down meals, because again, 6 and 8 like to take their time, both of them. So you might find yourself being like, let me slow down and eat this meal. And you might find other large groups of people or other people also doing the same thing. Now, 6 also connects to that struggle with regulation of the body, or rather, it can struggle with regulation of the body, but this also brings up the conversation around body care. So we also might see a lot more content or information coming out around the skin, the hair, the nails, anything that your body, babe, everything. Also, again, that's sexual health, so sexual organs or reproductive organs are also in there. So again, those STDs and STIs come up. Now, my next point will be impacts to finance. Now, I told you that 6 and 8 come together, and that means money. That does not necessarily mean you making money. It could mean that you lost some. It depends. So be mindful. So we might see, like I said, that losing or gaining money, the things around regards to the lottery, government or organization, financial assistance program, something changing in that, things around insurance. So that can be insured bank accounts, life insurance, etc. But also like dividends from stocks and stuff. That's also in there. Now, in regards to the lottery, we also have things around bidding and gambling, especially in regards to addictions to those things. Those might come up a lot more, again, because of 6's connection to overindulgence, and also 8's connection to rebelliousness that comes in. So we also might see on the other side of that lack of addiction, hopefully, we have more conversations and content around investing, making money, passive income, quote unquote, easy ways to make money, saving money, spending too much money, being really frugal with your money, bank accounts, the economy, rent prices of literally anything, rent in general, anything that would connect to money, which is basically everything when you're an adult, that is very much pushed pushed to the front seat. This also brings up things like fast fashion, dupes, perfumes, products and stuff like that, makeup products that you can get dupes for, skincare products you can get dupes for, hair care products you can get dupes for, everything like that. This also can come up with themes around people suing over those things. You might find a lot of people finding out that they got sick because they used this product from this company, and that might be coming out more online this month. So that's something to be mindful of. We also have an impact to large corporations and large companies, especially in regards to the conversation around finance. That's of like what you're paying people, wage imbalances, stuff like that, of like, hey, you have this. And this can sort of kind of tie into the jealousy theme with Six's behavior, but it doesn't have to be. It's sort of kind of like a, hey, you have this, but I don't have this. I don't really like that. And it can be sort of kind of like that. We also might have some conversations around work experience at these large companies and corporations. Boycotting is up there. Millionaire and billionaire conversations are up there. Work-life balance or lack thereof is also up there. So we already starting this month off with a bang. Like it's gonna, we got everything coming. We also have, again, the celebrity, influencer, public figure drama, potentially, because 6 rules over scandal. So there's that. 6 loves some drama. She like, oh, there's some tea. Let me sip it, and let me also sprinkle it around so everybody can get a taste. That's 6. 6 loves some tea. Also, there can be relationship betrayal or relational betrayal. So this could also be themes like cheating, lying, manipulation, jealousy, but also because of 8's involvement, there also might be themes around divorce, breakups, parting of ways, but also with 8's connection to abuse, we might also see more conversations around domestic violence as well, which is very heartbreaking. 8 also rules over that authority and power, so we also might see things in regards to law enforcement in regards to those things, or also just the legal system taking a stance in those spaces as well. So this includes those influencers, entertainment industry, especially people that you will see, because 6 connects to a level of performance in regards to I'm showing off because I look good. So this can be your actors, your musicians, your dancers, etc. Everybody's in there. Now, when we get to my next point of impacts to food, there's a lot here. So we got food accessibility, government or organization assisted things like food stamps, food banks, etc. We also have food quality in there. We also have restaurants. We might see a lot of, again, the legal system is at play here with that 8 year that we are in. So we might see mass closing down of restaurants, bankruptcy of chain restaurants, or just businesses in general, especially that involve that food market, but also fashions in there, beauty's in there, hair, skin, and body care is also in there. All of that it's sort of kind of there. We also might see that same impact to hospitality, so hotels are also in there as well. Back to the food though, we also have legal actions taken in regards to food. So you might see food poisoning cases and people suing over that. You also might see quality food, hair in food, nails in food, because again, hair, skin, and nails are 6 themes, or ruled by 6. So you might see that. So just be mindful of what you eating, be mindful of who's making the potato salad, all of that stuff. Just be mindful. Be mindful. The last thing I will say is impacts to home and family life is also on the table. So legal actions, this can be eviction, this can be winning house lottery, changing in living conditions. It can go both ways. I don't want you to sit and believe that it's automatically going to be positive or it's going to automatically be negative. Baby, it's going to be a mix of both, because that's how numbers work. It's like there's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some ups and downs. That's sort of kind of how numerology is. Now, we also have, with the impacts to home and family and those legal actions, we also have things around furniture pricing and quality. So we've had a lot of food recalls recently that also could continue, not only with food recalls, but just product, because 6 and 8, again, materialism. Anything that you can literally get your hands on, it's up in the air. it's up for grabs. It's up for grabs. So those furniture prices and quality, so furniture recalls might be in there, and also quality and price of clothes and shoes and things of that sort. So it's gonna be a heck of a ride. Now I will say that if you are liking what you're hearing, make sure you share it on your socials and tag me, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also DM me if you have anything you want to add or even ask about. But also make sure you book your free consultation so you can understand how this month can interact with, Lord Jesus, your personal numerology, because I do offer a personal forecast service that you can do. Also, my prices have dropped, so if you checked my prices before and you were like, I can't do that, baby, my prices start at $100. Payment plans start at $25. I'm very flexible with some stuff, so just let me know what you need, and hopefully I got you. So all the direct links are in the description of this episode. But back to this forecast, because we gonna get into these universal days. So when it comes to calculating universal days, it's the same calculation of your life path number. So you take the calendar month, calendar day, and the universal year or calendar year, whichever one. It's going to be the same math. And then you simplify that, add it all together, and then you'll get that universal day. So I'm gonna break down each universal day in regards to, and its connection to the calendar day as well, because they're rarely ever the same. I want to say they're only the same in universal 9 months. I want to say that's right, but I guess we have to wait till universal 9 months, which I want to say will be October, to test that theory. But anyways, so I want you to take note of your psychic destiny and name numbers. I do have a free guide to pull those numbers for you or help you figure out those numbers in the description of this episode, so definitely check that out if you don't already know those numbers. But pay attention the most to your psychic number, because that's your psyche. That is who you are at your core. That is what you can consciously resonate and understand about yourself. So pay attention for those calendar days and universal days. So we're starting off this month in a universal 7 day, which is going to be the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, and the 28th of this month. And this is likely to be impactful for people who do have that 1 and 7 in those in their numbers, but also 3, 4, 5, and 9 in those numbers because of relationality. So 7 is ruled by Neptune, Mercury's South Node, and Ketu. And then the Sun, or rather these calendar 1 days, are ruled by the Sun, because 1 is ruled by the Sun. So the energy of this day is very mentally stimulating, and this is very much so because of 7's connection and rulership to Mercury and Neptune, which are both very mentally stimulating. Mercury literally rules over the mind, and Neptune is more imagination. So there's that mental stimulation that's in the air. We also have creative expression, especially with 1 being ruled by the Sun, 7 being ruled by Neptune. There's a brightness, a boldness, an expression, just, I want to take up space, I want to show it off vibe, but it's very much reminiscent of things from the past because of 7's connection to the past with that South Node and Ketu rulership. So this brings up a nostalgic vibe, especially just energetically, yes, but also especially in beauty, fashion, style, aesthetic, movies, music, literally everything. Nothing's off the table. Anything nostalgic that's like reminiscent of something. And we also might see new spins and takes on those nostalgic things this month. But anyways, what I want you to do with this energy, or rather what you could do with this energy, this is also all very general, is you can journal, write, read, learn something, because 7's, again, Mercury rulership, and 1's, with its Sun rulership, that rulership is not even really what I want to focus on. The fact that 1 rules over potential and brilliance and genius, that ties into that, oh, let me learn something vibe. So you can watch documentaries, and this can be on literally anything. This could be psychedelics because of 7's connection to that. It could also be on the beauty and entertainment industry because we're in a universal 6 month. It could also be on self-improvement and mental health because self-improvement is ruled by 1 and mental health is ruled by 7, and also is ruled by Mercury, which is one of 7's rulership. So it's very much chef's kiss. You could also re-watch movies that you love to tie into that nostalgia theme, but also I want you to practice things like meditation, but also you might be able to practice things around astral projection as well and things of the sort. So also you might find yourself lucid dreaming a little bit more, which I know I have. I know I have. Last night was a wild ride. But also, I would say be mindful of drug and alcohol use or things that you could be addicted to, because you might find yourself being a little bit more indulgent, especially with it being a 6th month, but also 7's relationship to addiction. Not necessarily solely overindulgence, but addiction in and of itself. So this could be, again, those drugs and alcohol, but this can also be your phone, social media, caffeine, literally anything you could possibly be addicted to that you might find out that's spiking on these universal 7 days, which are again on that 1st, 10th, 19th, and 28th. Now, moving on to universal 8 days, which are going to be on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, and 29th. These are likely to be impactful for people who have 2, 4, 6, and 8 in their numbers, but especially because of this reflection between 2 and 8. Now, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Reflections are two numbers that sit on opposite sides of the same vibration, and with 2 and 8 being on these days, it can cause a little bit of friction if you might find yourself being pulled two different directions. So you have 8 being ruling of this stability and this order, whereas 2 is a little bit more fluid and go with the flow and just a little bit more just like, you know what, I'm vibing with the chaos. It is what it is. So you have 8 being ruled by Pluto and Saturn, and 2 being ruled by the moon, which again, the 2 comes from those calendar days, especially when they're simplified. So the energy of the day, especially with it being a universal 8 day, on a calendar 2 day and not vice versa, we have a emphasis on confidence, stability, certainness, because 8's relationship to authority and to its relationship to power and control of, I'ma do it. I'm gonna take charge. I'm gonna do this what I want. I do what I want, how I want, whenever I want, is very much 8. But that also on the other side, we get that relationship with insecurity, instability, uncertainness, anxieties, and stuff like that because of 2's relationship with authority. In regards to, it can feel a little bit hesitant sometimes. So you might struggle with taking up those spaces and taking up that confidence the way that you want to, and you might fall into those old habits that you might not really want to. There's also an emphasis or relationship to pessimism and depression on these days because of 8's relationship to those themes. Those are literally 8 themes. So there's also, but it also brings up a philosophical and wisdom type vibe. So you might see yourself seeing things from a different perspective at the same time. You might be like, you know what, it sucks, but like, it sucks, but however is the vibe. So you might see it a little bit differently. But also themes around doubt and gratitude, but also patience and restlessness, again because of 2 and 8's relationship. Like that reflection is very much there. So what you can do, or what I want you to do with this energy, again, very general, is going to be organize, clean, declutter. 8 rules over all of those things. It wants you to organize. It wants you to make space for what could come, because especially with 6's overindulgence and 8's connection to abundance, you might never know, them blessings might just come raining down. They might come raining down, and you might want to have some space for them. I'm just saying. I would also say get your finances together. So this could be researching pay off debt, how to use credit cards, savings account, investing, loans, grants, etc. Anything with money. Just start to dabble. Peek into it. Look at it and be like, you know what? Maybe I should, because it also might be a little bit more easy with it being a universal 8 day in this universal 6 month. It might come a little bit more natural, especially because of 6 and 8's relationship, which we already discussed. Now, I also want you to look at your long-term goals. This can be financial, this can be relational, this can be career, this can also be beauty, this can be self-care, all of those things. Look at those long-term goals. You don't have to figure it all out on this one day. Baby, take your time. 8 loves to take its time. So take your time, but just sort of kind of sit with it for a second and be like, what do I want? And go from there. Now, looking into these universal 9 days, which are going to be happening on calendar 3 days, which would be the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, and the 30th. These are going to be impactful, most likely impactful for those who have 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, or 9 in their numbers. And this is because of 9's energy, but also 3's energy. Obviously, 9 being ruled by Mars and Neptune, and then 3 being ruled by Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. So you have the energy of the day being very social or spiritually developmental in a sense because of 3 and 9's relationship to human interaction and spiritual development. Spiritual coming from that 9 side, being ruled over by Neptune not only, but also highlighting transmutation, transition, and transformation. And then 3's relationship to social spaces in and of itself. So you might feel yourself a little bit and be like, you know what? Let me grow, let me develop, let me change, let me poke around and see what's shaking over here. You also might feel a little bit uncertain and doubtful and a little bit anxious, and this is because 3 and 9 at the same time of feeling themselves can also struggle with confidence and overwhelm and feeling that anxiety. But baby, you a bad bitch. Live like a bad bitch. That's all I'm saying. Now, you also have creativity, ambition, and exploratory and things that are inspired by the future, inspired towards the future because of 3 and 9's relationship to movement. So 3 connects to movement in regards to adaptability, and 9 connects to that movement in regards to like transformation. So this could highlight changes in those creative, ambitious, etc. spaces. So what I want you to do with this is you go on an adventure, babe. Go somewhere. This doesn't even have to be physical. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Go somewhere. Explore. Be spontaneous. Take that adventure. Take that leap. Go outside. Touch some grass, maybe. So do those things. I also want you to shoot your shot at your goals, baby. Take that leap, with the career potentiality, with it being a universal 8 year, relationships being highlighted by 6 in this universal 6 month, creative projects, which is also like tied into like 6, 9, 8, and 3. Like it's there. Long-term goals highlighted by 8, space and expansion highlighted by 3. Babe, the card is carding. Go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. Just try it. See what happens. You'll always get a no if you never ask. And then the last thing I would add to that is give something or someone a makeover or an update. Update your goals, change your lock screens, mess with your hairstyle. I, as somebody who has their haircut, I condone anybody doing whatever the hell they want with their hair. Try something. Try something. Things that you could also update, like wardrobe, your habits, your routines, etc. Like anything on that list. Try to make things flow more naturally and allow it to also still hold space for spontaneity and just trying other shit out. Because just because you made a plan doesn't mean plans are going to plan like you want them to plan. So just hold space for the fact that the plan gonna change sometimes. Sometimes it don't plan the way you want to, and that is okay. Now, moving on to Universal 1 days, which are going to be happening on calendar 4 days. This is going to be the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, and the 31st. So these are likely to be impactful for those who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, and 9 in their numbers. And 1 is ruled by the sun, and then you have 4 being ruled by Uranus, the North Node, Rahu, Mercury, and Saturn. And that's a very potent punch that brings things like new ideas and step forward because of 1 and 4's relationship with progression and forward movement, as well as potentiality. You also have indulgence in ambitions or creative pursuits because 1 and 4 both are very creative, but they also highlight levels of extremism, which is where you get that potential overindulgence, but also the diving headfirst into these pursuits. But you also have a recklessness and impulsivity because of that, and that extremism as well. Because 1 and 4 can both struggle with patience, even though that's something that they both could benefit from. So though the energy of the day might not be patient, just allow yourself to, go with the flow with it, because it's going to be moving. It's going to be moving. You also might find yourself, especially if you have any of those numbers natally, I would put emphasis on for those with 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. I would just take 2 out of that to say that you might find yourself having more energy per se. It can go both ways, but you might just have it, especially with 1 and 4. Now, what you can do with this energy is shoot your shot. Again, that comes up again. Shoot your shot, and this can be in relationships again. This can be in career, wherever. Shoot your shot, especially with 1 and 4's connection to progression. You can progress in any space. Shoot it. Just shoot it. That's all I'm gonna say. Shoot your shot. Go for it. Now, this also can put an emphasis on things you could work on in regards to your relationship confidence and also faith in what you believe in. So allowing past beliefs to change, because 4 is very much connected to the future. So allowing things to change and grow and become newness being highlighted by the number 1. That could be very beneficial on these days of being like, you know what, I'm not as the same person as I used to be, and moving forward in that. Also, do something different. Challenge your perspective, morals, beliefs, etc. Just try something new. Do again, poke around, fuck around and find out in the best way. That's what I always say. Now, when we move into Universal 2 days, which are happening on calendar 5 days, which would be the 5th, 14th, and 23rd, we have those being the most impactful for people with 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 in their numbers. I'm gonna change that, actually. I'm gonna change that to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. I'm gonna take 9 off this one, because 9 might feel a little bit uncomfy. Well, I stand by that. Anyways, 2 is ruled by the moon, and 5 is ruled by Mercury and Jupiter. So you have an emphasis on the energy being around connection, especially mental connection. So you might find yourself drawing the mental connections. Finally, this stuff might really start clicking, but you also have emotional intelligence coming up in that as well. So you have that, but you also have an intimate and gentle and peaceful energy, which are all 2 themes, but that's because 2 is searching for this ease, but 5 highlights a level of logic and chaos. So with 2 being just more trusting in general and leaning into feelings, 5 leans into thought. So you might find a little push and pull between the desires that you might be feeling and the thoughts that you're actually having. So just be mindful of that. And then also themes around manipulation and jealousy, which are both themes that 2 and 5 can embody. So that's the overall energy. Now, what I want you to do with that, or what you can do with it, because again, all general, is have conversations around your intimate and emotional needs, wants, and desires, but also the friction that you might feel in regards to your feelings and your thoughts. Just have those conversations. It doesn't have to be with somebody else. It doesn't have to be with another party. I would say that if you do have the community, especially with 2's connection to community, lean on it. Lean on your community if you have it, and also cultivate a space of community within yourself so you can also lean on yourself to have these conversations. I would also say read and watch things that bring you comfort and stimulate your mind. So again, taking it back to rewatching some shows, rewatching some movies, of the nostalgic thing that comes a little bit on those other days that I mentioned. Tap in. Just do things that bring you comfort, especially childlike behavior, because 2 and 5 both tie into those childhood themes. Do the things, tap into the things that you used to do as a kid. Let yourself indulge in that. I would also say take a break. This is a great day to take a break, because again, with that push and pull between the emotional and logical, it can be a lot. So take a break, because you might find yourself being a little bit more anxious or triggered, overstimulated, or overwhelmed. So just sometimes you anything else I might have said up to this point, it might not be hitting. So take a break. Chillax. 6 loves to sit down. 6 loves to sit down. Those would be on 6 to 8 days. Babe, just sit down. And you also have the reflection between 2 and 8. Baby, sit down. It's okay. Take a load off. Put your feet up. Take a nap. So moving on to Universal 3 days, which are going to be happening on calendar 6 days. You have those being impactful for people who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, or 9 in their numbers. And 3 is ruled by, again, that Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. And then 6 is ruled by Venus and Jupiter. So it's very much basically the same energy. It's not even fully same bitch, different font. Not even fully, especially with the rulers. Because you just have the difference being with Mars there. And Mars is kicking it. Mars is having fun. This is where Mars loves to be at. Because also then you have 3 being half of 6. Like the relationality is strong here. So we have a lot of energy around creativity, around indulgence, around sensuality, around just exploratory things. It's up. I'm feeling it. Especially with 3's connection to luck and optimism. Come on, man. that 3-6 days, I'm looking forward to them. It just sounds like a vibe. Now, it doesn't have to all be good, because 3 and 6 can both struggle with anxiety and also boundaries. So you might find yourself falling a little too deep, being a little bit too indulgent. So that overindulgence and overworking or overexerting or overextending can come up on these 3-6 days as well. Now, what I want you to do with this energy, the good and the bad, is step out of your comfort zone. This can be taking a break or going and being social. So when it comes to the struggling with boundaries, maybe, baby, it's time to put them boundaries into place. And if you already got them boundaries, but you don't leave the house, but you know you should leave the house, maybe it's time to step outside. Now, I didn't say you have to talk to nobody while you out there, but maybe step outside. I'm just saying. And it's because 3 and 6 can both get stuck in familiarity. So I sort of kind of want you to push through that discomfort. Do it scared. I didn't say it was going to be easy. I didn't say it was necessarily going to be fun off rip. But just try it. Just try it. So also, you might find yourself indulging in social media or social spaces on these days as well. So you might find yourself wanting to go to a dance class or going to hang out in a social setting that might be like a club or a dance hall or anything like that. Or even restaurants are also up in there. Anywhere that there's space for people to convene together, you might find yourself in wanting to or actually and actively indulging in those spaces. Also, I want you to allow roles and also just things to change, because again, they both of these numbers are very accustomed to familiarity, and 3 and 6 both can struggle with releasing control, but also 6 can struggle with taking control in a way of taking action. So there can be a little bit of that. So I want you to do a little bit of work around allowing those changes on both sides, of allowing yourself to take control, but also allowing yourself to release it. Because sometimes you just got to put your hands up and step away. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Now, moving on to universal 4 days, which are going to be on those calendar 7 days. So that's the 7th, the 16th, and the 25th. These are likely to be impactful for people who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 9 in their numbers. And there's a natural polarity between 4 and 7 because of rulership, being 4's rulers being Uranus, the North Node, Rahu, Mercury, and Saturn. 7's rulers being Neptune, South Node, Ketu, and Mercury. So the polarity comes in with the North Node and Rahu, and then the South Node and Ketu. And that polarity can definitely bring that energy of the day being disorienting because of those rulers, but also very chaotic, and also altering that chaos, because 4 and 7 both rule over chaos. But chaos for 4 is different for chaos from 7 due to the fact that 4 is the future, whereas 7 is the past. So that chaos for 4 is the chaos before you get to the order or the future or the stability that is to come. And 7 is more of the chaos that happens after experiences and reflecting back on those experiences. And then you also have that altering energy because of, again, 4's connection to the future, 7's connection to the past. So you might find yourself struggling to feel grounded and feel like you might not have the stability you once did because things are just always moving. So what I want you to do with this energy is go with the flow. 4 and 7, you heard all them rulers I listed. You heard all them rulers. Baby, maybe just sit down. It's gonna be all over the place. It's gonna shake you, it's gonna stir you, it's gonna move you. But don't try to control it, don't try to fight it. Just let it guide you. You know, it's here to show you something new, because 4 and 7 both have a Mercury rulership. It wants to show you new information to some extent. It might not be new information completely, but there's a level of comprehension, understanding, awareness, and all things like that in that energy with that Mercury rulership. So allow it to, let it teach you some stuff. Now, I also want you to look at your past in regards to what have you learned, again, tapping into that Mercury rulership, and also the future in regards to what do you hope for, because of 4's connection to the future in regards to Uranus being progression and originality, but also the North Node and Rahu. So, look at those things and be like, okay, this, that, and the third, whatever that might be. And just figure it out for yourself, because also it's like, and don't necessarily set anything in stone, but just look at it. Allow yourself to be open to a new perspective. Also, take note of your dreams, because again, the disorienting nature of 4 and 7, with 4's push to the future, it sort of kind of takes the future and brings it to where you are in the present, and sort of kind of is like, hello, hello, I just want to let you know that this is coming. And 7 is sort of kind of similar, but it takes into account the past. So you might find yourself reflecting. So situations in your dreams might start to come to reality. But you also might see new perspective of past experiences in those dreams as well. So be mindful. Now we get to universal 5 days being on calendar 8 days, and these are likely to be impactful for people who have 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 in their numbers. So you also have that, rather, you have 5 being ruled by Mercury and Jupiter, and then Saturn being ruled by 8 being ruled by Saturn and Pluto. And this brings up an energy of deep conversation. 8 because of its connection to depth, and then 5's connection to communication, and awareness with new information, and 8's connection to wisdom and knowledge. It was given just talking. It was given talking, and we not just doing no surface level, because if 5 loves new information too, it loves to learn some shit. So you might just find yourself being in that knowledge bag, which also sparks up an intellectual stimulation in there. But also we have creative chaos, and I say creative chaos because 5 loves to create, and both 5 and 8 can be a little rebellious in their nature, especially when they get in a groove. Like when 8 finds out something's not working, it's like, burn it down. Burn it down. I don't care. It was there for how long? I don't care. Burn it down. And 5 is like, ooh, fire? Like, you're saying that I could potentially play with fire? Maybe, how do I feel about that? What do I think about playing with fire? Is very much 5. So you might have a little bit of creative chaos in regards to that. You also might have creative power imbalance. So that could also come up. So what I want you to do with this is look at your creative, mental, and what else would be in there? Creative, mental, and career boundaries, and see how much you align with it. Like, do you really fuck with it, or you like, this look kind of weird? Like, be honest. What do you want to do with it? I also want you to like journal about relationships, also communication, conversations that you want to have, money, experiences, things of that sort. Just really journal about those things and get your thoughts out. And even if the thoughts are about like relationships or intimacy and emotions, whatever it is, get your thoughts out. Just get them out, write them down, talk them out, whatever you got to do. You got a voice recorder on your phone somewhere. Maybe you don't actually. I don't know your life, but you could also just talk out loud to yourself, talking to yourself. Hey, look, it fixes a lot of my problems. So talk it out, get it out your system, so you don't have to have it sitting in there, because again, with 8's connection to depth, it can go deep. So don't let it sit, don't dwell on it, just get it out. So I also want you to learn something. That's something else you can do. So make plans for higher knowledge. This can be going to college, this can be internships, this can be apprenticeships, this can be learning from somebody who has more knowledge than you about something. This can also be research around things like finance, psychology, relationships, development, awareness, self-improvement, any of the things, research it. I think that would be cute. But also, if you want to create anything, create it and try to not focus too much on perfection. Let it be messy. Because 5 and 8 together, that can be, again, creative chaos. It can be messy. Let it be messy, okay? It doesn't all have to be perfect. Now, when we get to our final calendar days, those are going to be universal 6 days. So that's going to be on calendar 9 days. So that's going to be your 9th, the 18th, and the 27th. So this is likely to be impactful for those who have 2, 3, 6, 8 and 9 in their numbers. So it's gonna be cute. I'm not really mad at it for real, if I'm being honest. And 6 is ruled by Jupiter and Venus, and Mars is ruled by Neptune and Mars. Mars is ruled by, Lord Jesus, I did it again. 9 is ruled by Mars and Neptune. So that brings this energy of the day being a spiritual intimacy. Now, 6 and 9's relationship brings things closer because they both, in their own ways, indulge in care, in lust, in impulsivity, in recklessness, in spontaneity. Those are all themes that these numbers connect to. So this can transpire, or rather show up as spiritual intimacy in some way. This also highlights sensuality because of six's relationship to the body, because of Venus's rulership and also connection to the physical, and then also the soul because of 9's Neptune rulership and being the final number, highlighting a level of transmutation and what is the word that I'm looking for? Evolution is one of them. But also endings, in a sense of like we're progressing to a finish of some sort of, just like wrapping it all up in a nice little bow. So a transition, if you will. Then you also have a relationship with movement. Now, I will say, when I say movement in regards to 6 and 9 and Venus and Mars being in those rulership, I'm not solely talking about just sex, because it's a very repetitive conversation of 6 and 9, 69, also Venus and Mars. Oh, yep, sex. Like, it don't gotta, because this energy can also be very passionate, very focused on desire, very focused on, again, bringing things closer, that lust, that impulsivity, that recklessness. So the movement doesn't have to just be sex. It can be a very passionate movement of you're taking action on your desires. You're taking action on the lust or the sensuality or the care, things of that sort. So what I want you to do with this energy is, first of all, move your hips, baby. Move your body. Shake it out, okay? Move it. Just move it. Roll your shoulders. Roll your hips. Learn something. Like, bend your knees. Move your ankles. Roll it around. Move your body. Because a lot of things can sit in your body. Your emotions. I've always said, if you've been keeping up with my work for years at this point, I've always said that your power lies within your hips. So move that power around, baby. Move it around. Stretch out them hips, okay? Do something to get the blood flowing in them joints, okay? Move them. I also want you to go do something fun. So this can be dancing, because personally, I love to dance. I will be on that dance floor for way too many hours. They is turning off the lights and unplugging the aux cord. I'm still in there getting crunk. It's a problem. But anyways, I want you to go do something fun. So this can be things that bring you pleasure, peace, excitement, joy, just things that, do that bring you those feelings and emotions you get when you're doing something fun. Go do those things. I also want you to look at your relationship with sex, intimacy, pleasure, sensuality, and also your health. So this looks like STD and STI testing, journaling about sexual experiences, indulging in what you want in regards to fantasies, stuff like that. Looking at all that stuff, talk about it with yourself, talk about it with somebody that you trust, talk about it with your partners. Be honest, people. Please be honest. And then keep it pushing. So that's the look around for July. I'm very excited because, again, 6 and 8 together means money. It does mean other stuff, as we discussed. It goes a lot deeper. We got food in there. We got relationships. We got intimacy. We got money. We got corporations. Like, it's a whole lot of. And I really hope you enjoyed this, because this is my first episode back in so long. Like, my books are open again. I'm making podcasts. Who are they? Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you share this with somebody who you think could benefit from this episode. If you want to know what you should do in this month, go ahead and book your free consultation, and we can do a forecast for you for this month and maybe even next month. However you want to go out, we can go out. Looking into all of that stuff. But make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at @NumbersWithJacari to catch up on everything that I'm going to be doing, because we got some stuff in the works. But that was all I have for you today, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.